Did you win?
Well, I was playing against myself, and it's like I have to hit 3 in a row. It's like I need to hit 4 in a row. Now I hit 5 in a row.
Yep.
And then I'm like, oh crap, I need to run upstairs. So anyway,
Last time I saw you, you had long hair.
Gotta keep the identity pushing. I'm finding new crevices of this mansion.
Yeah.
Every time I look around, I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was here. I thought I thoroughly explored it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're adding on or what, but.
You're watching Shift Happens Beyond the Boxes, where we take a look at the inner workings of the moving industry.
Hey guys, Jason Bergenske here with Jyre from Here to There Moving. Did I get that right? All right.
From here to there with exquisite care.
That's right. What state are you guys in?
We're out of Lexington, the humble state of Lexington.
All right.
City, I guess, with the state of Kentucky.
Yeah. So awesome. So thank you so much for being here. Obviously, you're a Legends Retreat. You were here for our first year.
Yes, sir.
You were signed up to come last year and weren't able to make it, and obviously came this year, which we're super excited that you're here. Tell me a little bit as far as how's it been so far compared, because you were here the first year and then now this year.
Yeah. Well, first off, appreciate you for having me on. Appreciate you for having me out to y'all's mansion. Most of the time when people invite me to a mansion party, I don't get invited back. So appreciate that. No, sorry, I was running a couple minutes late.
No, you're good.
I was downstairs in the arcade. I was playing the Papa Shot.
Yeah.
And I
did you win?
Well, I was playing against myself, and it's like I have to hit 3 in a row. It's like I need to hit 4 in a row. Now I hit 5 in a row.
Yep.
And then I'm like, oh crap, I need to run upstairs. So anyway, there's a multitude of stuff to do. And like I said, I was here a couple years ago. A lot has changed in those couple years. So it's good to be back to see how much you guys have grown, how much I've grown. And
last time I saw you, you had long hair.
Gotta keep the identity pushing. I'm finding new crevices of this mansion.
Yeah.
Every time I look around, I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was here. I thought I thoroughly explored it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're adding on or what, but.
Yeah, you were set ahead of everyone else, though, because you kind of already knew some of the mansion. Although you hadn't been here in a year and a half, you kind of remembered where everything was when she got here, or no?
Yeah, well, and different setup, too. We got a full house this year. I know the first year.
First year was less people, yep.
Very intimate, still very intimate, but.
Some bigger speakers this year.
Yeah, you were talking about, we got everyone from all ends of the spectrum, from the 70 million to the 1 million. I am certainly on the very end of the.
No, that's awesome.
The left side of the spectrum, and I was soaking up for Mr. Tool for about 2 hours. Yeah. Until it devolved into politics like it always does, and then we both called each other slurs and walked away like gentlemen.
Oh boy. So obviously, what have you seen different compared to like what you remember from Legends before? Just as the speakers, there are more people. Obviously, we didn't have the masseuse the first year. Did you sign up for a massage?
Miss Rose.
Yeah.
5 stars to Miss Rose.
Yeah. Okay. You were just telling Chris Knowles that he needs to get the scalp massage.
Yeah, I was frustrated because I know we got a tight schedule. So usually when I'm back home getting my massage, I'll pass out for 30 minutes afterwards, and I knew that I couldn't do that here. So luckily my room was right down there, and I think I got the best room in the place. There's.
Well, you brought your whole team. How many guys did you bring?
Oh, I was supposed to bring my right and my left. My left is a college volleyball coach, and they're on an away game this season. So I ended up bringing back one of the OG gentlemen who I met for the first year.
That's awesome.
Sat right next to him, Mr. Mark.
Okay.
From Austin, Texas, and then someone else who I met at another retreat. So I got the team here.
That's really cool that you did that. Yeah, I think we ended up giving you a bigger room because we knew someone was sleeping on the floor. So. Or on an air mattress.
Yes, sir.
But let's talk a little bit about how you got in the moving business. Like, I actually don't know. So I'd love to hear your story and what got you here.
Well, so my mom met my dad.
Yep.
And then, no. So I'm one of 4. I'm from Richmond, Kentucky, right outside of Lexington. Yep. First generation college graduate. And when I was going through college, my old fashioned parents told me you're either going to be a doctor or a lawyer once you get out. That's what I heard. Yep. I hated math and science, so I went for a lawyer. Yep. I was about to graduate in political science, and I was working at a moving company because it was the highest paying company around. And then I went to an estate sale company from there, which is actually my right hand man's parents' company. Anyway, long story short, one of the patrons at the estate sale company gave us a box truck that didn't run. That was a few months before I was fixing to graduate, about to start applying to all my law schools. And it was a few months before graduation, and then a few months also before the pandemic, which no one knew that was happening. Yeah. I think after graduating college, I was kind of like a dog chasing a car, and I finally caught the car, and I was like, okay, what do I do now? Do I keep on the academia path? And I looked around, and you're always asking God or making prayers for more. And you looked around and God says, hey, I gave you enough. Why don't you just go ahead and you got the stuff there. Why don't you work with it? So,
I gave you a truck.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, heck. So I ran with it, and it's been a blessing. We just turned 6 last week.
That's awesome.
So total blessing. Still one company based out of Lexington, but really trying to perfect the model before we do whatever we got next.
Yeah. How many trucks you guys running?
Yeah, we're running about 6 trucks right now.
Got it. So that's awesome. And then you mostly residential, you doing commercial also?
Yeah. So we're on year 6. So we've reinvented ourselves 2 or 3 times now. But I would say mostly within about an hour of Lexington, we do another 20% that's long distance.
Yep.
Most of our routes from Lexington, Kentucky, it seems like are young professionals going to Austin, Texas, and then older folks migrating down to Florida. So we do a lot of moves like that. We do some delivery, some packing, some storage, all the mover boy stuff. Yeah, nothing, you were talking about all the secrets being shared, and there's no secret to it out here. I mean, go out and get it. Go out and get it, darn it. Yeah. That's the secret.
Yeah, that is it. So obviously growing that, so 6 years, which is awesome. Where they say most companies go out of business within 5 years. Right. So you're past that, which is awesome. Yep. What are you doing every day as far as, are you out on the truck still some? Are you mostly dispatching? What kind of, give me an idea what you guys are doing?
So I bought my partner out about 2.5 years ago, my best friend. Yep. We started on a handshake deal, and we were lucky to still be best friends today.
That's awesome.
About 6 months ago, I went to Thailand. So after I bought my partner out, I had essentially so I operated in a partnership. I never really had a team. Yep. I went to Thailand last year, and I went from a management team of 2 with all the other movers and drivers out there, created a management team, an actual management team of 8. And that's been really fun. That we had 8, and then we went down to 5, and now we're back up to 8. And, 4 or 5 years of running a business as a partnership, you learn a whole lot. It's kind of like being in a relationship.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you get a team, it's just a whole new level, whole new devil. And instead of having one-on-one arguments between you and I, now you and I are having arguments. We got to broadcast the argument to everybody else, make sure we have alignment on the arguments. Yep. So that's just been the fun part of entrepreneurship specifically, and moving. Yep. Is, there's always something else to master and to do.
Yep.
Here's a word from one of our sponsors.
Running a moving company can be a challenge, especially when it comes to staffing during peak seasons. That's where Lion's Den booking service comes in. We understand the unique needs of moving companies and offer a solution that makes staffing easy and efficient. With Lion's Den, you gain access to a network of reliable professionals ready to assist you at a moment's notice. Our pay-per-minute model allows for flexible scheduling, so you only pay for the time you use. Let us do the hunting, booking, selling for you. And with dedicated support from our team, help is always just a click away. Sign up now and enjoy a 25% discount for the first 3 months of service. Take advantage of this exclusive offer to streamline your operations and maximize your profitability. Join Lion's Den booking service today and revolutionize the way you manage your moving business.
So your family, you said, obviously they want you to be a doctor or lawyer. So how are they now? Obviously now you've successful running a moving company. You're 6 years in. Are they upset that they didn't get their doctor or their lawyer? Or are they?
Well, I don't think that was my parents so much. I think that was my limited view of what college was for. Yep. But I always make the joke that I've hired almost all of my family, and they usually find the way out about 3 or 4 days later. I have my, had my mamaw answering phones. I've had my mom answering phones. Have them all at different times, but I find that just the stress of intermingling the two. Yep. I love them both so dearly. When I combine the two, it's just this stress cocktail that's just not fun for me.
Yep. That's good. What all did you learn from Larry today? He said you all talked for a couple hours. Obviously talking to him is pretty neat. He's got a lot of experience, and what sticks out?
Yeah, Larry brought me to tears today, especially when he was talking about leadership, and he was talking specifically about forgiveness, and about, as a leader, you can't freak out on the guy no matter how much you want to freak out on someone, no matter how frustrated you get. The way he talks about doing things the right way, I think it's funny how everybody else rushed to get off the truck so they could answer emails, and he rushed to get other people in the admin roles so he could stay on the truck and keep the culture. Yeah. So, the results speak for themselves. Being around him, you can, I'd want him in my house moving my stuff. Yep. So
he's a neat guy. And then, 2 things on that. He was on my podcast a couple weeks ago, and I asked him, which I was not expecting this answer. I asked him, how long were you on the truck? So most guys, and I'm a firm believer, get off the truck as fast as possible, typically because you need to try and grow the company. He said he was still going on the truck at $10 million a year. At $10 million a year, he was still going out on the truck one day a week.
How long did it take him to get to 10 million?
Yeah, well, that's true. I don't know. But then 2, the story that you're saying brought you to tears, he also talked about in my podcast, and it's good. and it's something that he talked about, that I don't know how long ago it was, but it was actually a really good employee that essentially the truck had broken down, and he had promised another customer that this truck was going to be there, and it wasn't there. The truck broke down. These guys had a piano only in the truck, and these guys by hand pushed this piano all the way to the customer's house and delivered it. Meanwhile, they didn't call the office and tell the office what was going on. And Larry had promised this customer that this truck was going to be there, not knowing the truck was broke down. And obviously the truck never showed up. This customer calls him and cusses him out. It's absolutely terrible to him. And when that guy finally showed up to work, Larry lit into him, yelling at him, screaming at him. Larry's an awesome guy. He's from Ireland. His family's from Ireland. And he said, that's just part of my heritage. It's part of what I grew up with. You could love your dad, your son, whatever it is, but that's how we communicate. Yeah. And for I don't know if it was years, but for a long time, he felt fully justified in how he treated that employee, until one day it clicked on him that it wasn't that employee's fault. Obviously the guy made a mistake. He should have called the office and said, hey, this is what's going on. But it was Larry's fault because he's the one that hired that guy, and he can't have that in his thing. But I think it's neat because this is a guy that's doing $70 million a year, that doesn't just get up on stage. In fact, I don't think any of the stuff he gets up on stage, it says, hey, look at me, look at us, look at how amazing we are. Right. This was one of the biggest failures I had as a leader, that I realized I screwed up, and this is how I fixed it, which is neat. You know what I mean? Like it takes this guy doing a big company to, you hear all the time how people want to just brag about what they do or what their company does, or they don't want to tell you the bad. Right. And I think that's what's neat is in a place like this, or, this, maybe not even like this, but the speakers we try and get are real people that actually care to help the industry. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that's cool. What, did you learn any other nuggets today? Well, we obviously got, awesome lineup of speakers tomorrow also, but any other speakers that spoke out to you or that you felt?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing Jeannie tomorrow.
Yeah.
I love, like I said, I know Chris just applauded your team, but do have to give them applause. It's been great. Back-to-back years, I'm a repeat customer because I enjoyed it the first time, and as Mr. O'Toole said up there, you didn't get a 5-star review because you're a 5-star owner. You got a 5-star review because you sent 5-star guys. Yep.
Jeannie is phenomenal. She's actually become like family to my wife and I, Kayla. Everyone in the office calls her Mama Jeannie, I can tell you. And I'll tell you how close she's become. And she started off as a regular employee. She started off in our call center for Lion's Den. That is my son screaming in the background. He's not in here. He's in another suite.
Their money's worth.
But she started off in our call center as a normal employee. Sorry, guys. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's kind of funny. Anyways, she started off as a normal employee, started off in our call center. The first time I met her, she had probably worked for our company for a week. I hadn't met her yet. And we have a haircut person that comes to our office every other week. And a bunch of us get our haircuts done. It's awesome. I just finished getting my haircut in the office, and Jeannie comes up to meet me. This is, 4 years ago or something. She comes up and she shakes my hand and she goes, thank you so much for allowing me to work here. And I just wanted to tell you how much I look up to you in this company. And I'm just so happy for this opportunity. Which, two things. First of all, who says that? Like, that is amazingly awesome, but that's who Jeannie is. Right. And two, there's not a lot of people like that anymore. You know what I mean? And to push further, towards that, obviously she's moved up in the company. She's now the director of business development for our entire company. She's gone through 6 or 7 different positions, moving up the ladder. But, she actually came to the hospital the day after my son was born, and she got to hold him. So she's very close with us now, which is really neat. But that's part of the culture that I feel we've tried to instill. It doesn't always work with all employees, but it's part of growing a company, and you end up meeting some really awesome people. I'm sure you've done as well. And, obviously you worked with your best friend for a couple years or several years. It's a neat thing. So it's cool that you mentioned that. Yeah, she's speaking tomorrow, and it's actually, I think, partly on relationships and culture and stuff like that, which which is cool.
Yeah, I would say she is certainly certified to
speak
on those
to it.
man.
So to give you one last thing, her husband has been dealing with some health issues, and he's been in the hospital for the last 4 or 5 days. And we told her, she was with him for 3 days nonstop, and we told her, Jeannie, you don't need to come to the event. We don't need you. We got it. And she goes, no. We're close with her husband now too. He's in the hospital. He goes, no. He goes, I need her out of the room. Send her to the event. And she goes, no, I'm coming. I can't let this down. But it's I wish I could take credit for it but it's not us. She's just a great person. But those are the people that you have to try and reward when they come into your company, because they help so significantly that you can't replace them.
Right. And that was also what Mr. O'Toole touched on today about the bell curve of people. And, there's the very small outlier of people who are, going to be the high
phenomenal.
Consistently phenomenal, and then consistently subpar. And then there's everybody else in that bell curve. And he just touched on how, it intuitively, but what the environment that they surround themselves in is what puts 100% one of those two categories. And
here's a word from one of our sponsors.
Attention, moving company owners. Are you tired of managing your business with spreadsheets and pen and paper methods? Do you want to streamline your operations, increase your bookings, and look more professional to your customers? Then it's time to switch to moveitpro software. Our cloud-based platform provides everything you need to manage your moving company in one place. From booking and dispatching to payment processing and customer communication. Plus, with features like GPS tracking, real-time notifications, and detailed reporting, you'll be able to optimize your operations and take your business to the next level. So what are you waiting for? Visit www.moveitpro.com to schedule a free demo today and see how we can help you move your business forward.
Well, and I think that was one of my big takeaways from, we're just talking about Larry, and because you had brought that up, but he said, I'll just paraphrase it, but essentially, if you're an A employee, if you're an amazing employee, you're phenomenal, you're awesome, you're everything. And it's just talking about moving industry wise, or moving, you're a mover, right? Phenomenal mover. You're hard worker, dedicated, you love it, you're everything. And you go and you start working for a new moving company. You go out on your first day, and the crew they set you with is crap. Yep. The guys are complaining. They don't want to be there. They're talking about if they're going to get a tip. Right. They're all this stuff. That A team player is going to do one of two things. He's either going to become that, which is probably not going to happen, or he's going to be like, dude, I can't work here. I'm going to go work somewhere else, because he's not going to, he's an A team player. Like he is, ethical, hardworking, this, that, and the other. He's going to fundamentally have a problem with working with those type of employees. Yeah. And we see it so much. These moving company owners, they will keep crappy guys because they feel like, which is true, it's sometimes hard to get good guys, but they'll keep them because, I got to cover the jobs. I got to do this. I got to cover the jobs. I got to this. And then you hire a phenomenal employee and you send them out with them. And then you complain about why you have all crappy employees. Well, that's why.
Well, that's actually how we end the interviews. We say, we're still sharpening steel company, and we're the best paying company around. So if you want to do a half-ass job, you can go work for any other company. Yep. They'll pay you half as much, and you'll be perfectly fine. But if you want to be pushed hard. Yep.
And I think that's a big thing, and that's part of I interview a lot of moving company owners, and I talk to a lot, obviously owning moveitpro and stuff, but so many of the ones, it's a solid trend that I see for the successful ones, the big ones, the ones that really grow, is the ones that take care of their employees. The ones that really care about the employees, they pay them well, they provide for them, and I'm not saying you're paying them triple what, like, that's not, a lot of it doesn't even, money has something to do with it. I'm not going to discount that, but it's not always about the money. It's about how you make them feel. It's about how you correct and
fulfillment.
Exactly. And so that is a big part of it. And if they come to work and they think the owner doesn't give a shit about them, they think the owner doesn't care, the owner's just here to get money and this, that, and the other, that employee is going to portray that same everything to the customer. So I think that's cool. I think that's, it's interesting. That's cool that you picked that up.
Well, I think one of the really foundational, I heard the end of Chris's, and I think everyone who does any endeavor, right, they have anyone who sticks with it, they're going to have a few pivotal moments.
Yep.
And one of them for us is we had one of the employees, or one of the gentlemen, one of the kids, because we were all kids when we started the company, who helped me start the first summers, he had passed away a few years later after he graduated college. This was a couple years ago. It was, and the funeral he had, everybody got to go up there, and once they lowered him, they got to go help assist to bury him.
Yep.
And everybody's on an accountability wave right now, and I know that taking over accountability is kind of the wave right now, but I couldn't help but to think that, and this guy, I don't know if he was ever even on papers, a W-2 employee for me. He was just one of the kids who I called at the very beginning to get it done. And sometimes I have to go bust through the door and wake him up and say, hey, this truck's leaving in 15 minutes. We're going to be on it. But anyways, coming back and, thinking on, the handful of times he had worked with me, I realized that every chance that this kid walked through my door and I sent him out on a truck, I was either, sending him closer towards, his ultimate destination, right? And whether you want to get religious with or not, one step closer to life or death, or however you want to put it. And really knowing that and taking accountability, right? And realizing that, like, this kid might come here one day, he might be here for 1 week, he might be for 1 year, even your decade, right? Yep. But once you're done with it, you want to look back and say, I know I certainly was leading him towards the right path, and that was a huge accountability moment for me, because it's all these insignificant moments which pile up, and that's what we're talking about, culture, fulfillment. And I always say, and he touched on it too, it took me a while to get the language, but from here to there, my company is a lost boys club, right, for who I needed when I was 17 and started at the moving company, right? Because you can inherently learn so much from just getting thrown on the truck and say, figure it out. You get a lot of problem solving skills, having a terrible culture, someone who doesn't care about you at all, but you can, so I was like, well, what if we just did this and maybe threw a little bit of, let the guys use a toilet. That would be a good start, right? Compared to the old company. So anyways.
That's good. So what's next for your company, you feel?
Oh, my friend. Well, I keep telling everybody that I'm going to retire here in about 6 months. So I'm just got to speak into existence, fake it until you make it. And I say retire. By retire, I mean work whenever I choose. Sure. I would still obviously choose to work more than not. But, from here to there, we're really trying to perfect this model to get it exit ready. Obviously, once you get to that point, there's a few different doors that you can go down. But I think no matter whether you want to franchise and become like McDonald's, or whether you want to, just get mailbox money or any license, whatever. Sure. I think that the steps you got to take to get there, they're got to be the same. You got, it's fundamental stuff like that. If you're gonna build value in anything, right, that's all going to take the same steps. For sure. So I think people get a little bit too caught up on what door they're going to get there, what door they're going to choose once they get there. It's like, well, heck, we'll just
got to have the options.
Get to the door first, and then whatever you feel that day, if you're like me, whatever you feel that day, you'll choose the door, and then the next day you'll come back and say, actually, I'll go to the other door today, right? So, yes, sir.
Well, good. Well, cool. Well, thank you so much, man, for being on it. Thank you again for coming back. We're happy you're here. If you had someone that was thinking about coming to Legends Retreat, now that you've been to a couple, what do you think? What would you tell them?
It's one of one feel. I've been to a couple of these industry events, and one of one feel for sure. Like you said, the only one that's doing it the way you guys are, and the intimacy is incredible. And I think it kind of reminds me of, I always say back at home, like all the other business owners, I'm in some networking groups. But sometimes the best way to do networking is to just shove people in close quarters and
figure it out.
Right. So I play basketball with this group of old guys once a week, and we just get together and we just set hard screens and call each other sissies, and then after the game, say, hey, by the way, I had a client who's moving here, and we pass business off, and then you go to the BIAs or whatever, and all you do is talk about business. You don't get any business from there. So I think this is a great model on that of, instead of going to the conference and feeling like you need to abide by the schedule and catch the people on the way out, right? It's like you don't really have all that, because, like you said, they're going to be at the lunch line getting lettuce right in front of you, so you'll have a chance to
And I think that's a huge thing. Like, I haven't even thought that much about that, but I think the close proximity and you're locked in with these people, and it sounds, when you say it like that, it sounds bad, but it's not, because it's where you end up meeting some of your closest people that are in the same shit that you're in. Like, these are all guys in the moving industry, dealing with trucks breaking down, dealing with flat tires, dealing with guys not showing up, dealing with all this stuff, and you're able to connect with them. And to bring to your point, you brought with you 2 guys that you met at events, but you've become friends with.
Yep.
And you wouldn't have become friends. Like you brought one of the guys that was here 2 years ago. You wouldn't have become friends with him if you weren't here, but now you've become friends. And I'm sure because of that friendship, it helps you in one way or another. Whether you're calling him for advice or you're giving him advice or like, hey man, listen to this, what happened, or whatever the situation is.
I met a lot of guys at a lot of conferences, but he would randomly every 4 months he'd send me a Bible verse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was like when I thought to myself, who am I gonna invite to this conference?
That's awesome.
But it's tough to keep in touch with people, right?
Yep.
When we're in day to day.
Yep.
So yeah, I want to one more time salute you guys as a leader, right? All you can do is create a platform, right, and hope some magic happens on that platform. So I appreciate you.
Cool.
Commend you for year 1, year 3, year 2, all of them for
I appreciate
making
it.
something happen. So
Well, we're happy to do it. We're going to keep doing them.
Keep it up. Keep kicking ass and taking names, my friend.
That's it.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, buddy. Well, I appreciate it. We got you doing bowling tonight?
Kicking ass and taking names is what I said.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much. We will see you next time.
Thanks for tuning into our podcast. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and get notified each time a new one comes out. We'll see you next time.